Well, welcome to the channel. As you can see, we've got t-shirt weather today, which is kind of a fluke. A little pretty windy, but it's about 69 degrees, which is a huge change from being in the 40s and as a high 48. We're supposed to go back to that, but today we're sitting with pretty nice with that. Well, it's a good thing I consulted the blueprints on this trim, because I was getting ready to cut it because it seemed like it was a little too short. Those corner trims were a little too short for what they were made for. But I'm looking at the design. So with this drawing, these are my fitted corners that I have for it. And I was looking at how to angle these up to match the pitch here. But instead, I'm gonna use the standard ones as they have them, and then run this wider trim board that runs all the way across on top of those. That makes more sense, and so I don't have to short and change boards and add extensions on stuff like that to it. So we'll just use them as is, and then do that trim work above it. And that should solve our problem with the trim work. But I have to get that stuff, at least those gable end trims done, because my understanding is this week the guys are going to install the furnace back in here, and the heating throughout the house are going to be here this week, which is about a month ahead of schedule, which is great news. But it also puts me in a little bit of a crunch to try and get the stuff run, or get the trim up, because we're going to have to drill through that for the vent pipes. So for the two fans for the bathroom, and then the fan for the vent for the oven. So we've got to get those, and the dryer vent. We've got to get those things installed and done. So we went from 70 degrees yesterday, or 74 actually, to 45 today and raining. We've got to get this trim pieces on, and I've got a trim piece that goes across here we're going to try and get installed today. We're working in conjunction with the heating and air guys. Thought I could we'll try and get some filming of that, but more explanation on that later. But I've got to get that piece up so that they can drill the pass-throughs for the vents and for the dryer vent. So we'll get busy on getting the trim work up on this end, and then we'll start working on the remainder of the trim work. Yeah, this is just this side of miserable, but oh well, we'll just keep at it. This week also begins the start of our heating and air conditioning. This is a big project that we decided to pass off to actual pros to do this. After shopping around extensively trying to find the parts and equipment, we found that it was almost nearly impossible to get here in Montana for anything of any sizable use for this house. So we contacted some local agencies to come out and do the install. Overall, it was the right choice, because just due to time and expense and the learning curve to learn this new project, it was easier to have these guys come in and do this. And we'll discuss some of the pricing and some of those different aspects of it as we continue on with the video. This week, we also chose to start the HVAC. We decided to contract this part of the job out due to some complications that we had. Initially, our plan was to do this ourselves. However, in researching that, we could have gotten a lot of the components at Home Depot, except for the main heater itself. That proved to be a major problem for us all the way around, as we tried like hell to see if we could find one that would fit this house. However, here in the state of Montana, and I'm sure this is way everywhere, but I know here in the state of Montana, the big box stores do not carry furnaces of high enough quality to handle
houses with this much volume. And when we did contact the HVAC companies, while they have the units for sale, they will not sell them to you directly, which poses its own problem, as we can't get it. So we started doing out bids to see exactly how much we could get the system put in for. And the prices were staggering in the price range. We had one quote as high as almost $40,000, and then this quote here for around $15,000. While still a lot of money, when you look at the cost of the components and the labor that to put this together, it actually turned out all right for us in the end. So we started this week with these guys getting initial pipe laid out and conduit, and we will continue on this week as we do the siding or the trim work and put in our HVAC as well. Yeah, it sucks. It'll just kind of stop. While putting up the trim is not highly technical, it was actually pretty rewarding to get this part done. For months and months, this house has had with just the open window faces and the house wrap on the house. And so for me to get to start this process of putting on the trim work, which is the next step before we start moving to siding, it's a huge relief to be this far in the project and to be able to get started on this. It certainly sets me up for success when I get going. Although there's still quite a bit to do, I got pretty far with this process so far. And the HVAC guys are continuing to work and continuing to tackle this second part of the project we're working on this week with flying colors. Pretty impressed with their work so far. So we'll just keep at it and keep going.
I got all the front trim on around all the windows and the front door. I got the corner trims on this side, but did not get the that belly trim that goes across the side there. That's a little too heavy for just me to do by myself, so I'm going to need some help from Colleen or somebody else to help me get that up there. But we'll get that belly board up next. It didn't stop the HVAC guys from doing what they need to do. They went ahead and had them drill the penetrations, and once I get that board up there, that trim board up there, then I will finish blocking that in and rounding that out, and then put the vent caps on that. But we got certainly have some more weather is coming, and that's going to do it for today. The guys are done with the HVAC, so we'll go inside and take a look at some of what they did in there. There's not a lot that I can film. I don't want to get in these guys' ways as they're doing the heating system. But as you can tell, they've got the pipe run for the returns, which are on each end, and they're going to work on getting those in. That was one return there, and there's one on the other side for air returns. They got those in, and they've got at least a major 16-inch return underneath the house completed as well. It looks like it's going to be a few days to get this completed. But one thing that was kind of nice is we got all of the bathroom fan vents vented out. We got the laundry room vent done, and we got the vent for the hood range completed as well today, which is pretty huge. So we will pick this back up tomorrow and continue on with both trim work and the HVAC. So it's a new day and we are back at it. We're going to continue on with the HVAC work here, as well as the trim work around the windows and doors. We've still got quite a bit to do. Still working on trying to get the belly bands up on the side of the house as well, and we'll just keep at it. But we're back in action and we will get it done. Right now, installed is the cold air intakes for the actual heater itself. So the heater will be pulling cold air through these vents back to the heat exchanger in order to start regulating the heat in and out of the house. All right, so I've got trim around both doors, and that's a big project done. And the next one is just around the corner. I still have to do the corner trim on the north side of the house, and then I have one small bathroom window to do over there, and we're done with all the door and window trim except for the center section. I have to get these 3 windows in and then do the trim work, but all of it's going to be custom because the widest trim board I have for this center section here is 5.5 inches, and that is almost 7 inches across right there. And so I'm gonna have to do some custom cutting and some trim work around all these bay windows. So we'll do that at a later date. We'll get all that completed and then at one time. So we'll get the windows in, the last 3 windows in, and then I'll do all the trim work for those windows, and then we'll be done with that trim work. But we're gonna continue on with the house, the main part of the house, and get that done, and then we'll go. I have the bottom of it set for right here, which is gonna be, I've got 2 decks that run out to about here, and then we'll get those projects here as well. But we'll continue on and get the corners in and get that last bathroom window done. The HVAC guys are kicking ass and doing some custom sheet metal work right now, so we'll go in and check that out here in a little bit.
I spoke to the HVAC guys, and rather than buy a plenum, that's the piece that connects the furnace to the upper pipes, to buy one would have taken a long time, and the guy said it was easier for him to go ahead and build the base and the plenum itself for the unit. It would be faster and more time consuming and a lot less money for him to just do it himself. And so that's what he did, is he went ahead and bent all this out of sheet metal from one solid sheet.
Well, it's been a pretty productive day around here. I managed to get all of the window and the door trim done. I still have the belly band trim on either gable end of this house to do. I managed to get one board up there by myself, which was a major task. But I'm going to ask the guys that are doing the HVAC if they'll help me get that up there tomorrow, or I'll get Colleen out here. But anyway, it's been a productive day. I got all the trim done work except for that. And these guys were knocking it out today. As you can see, all of this work here from the pipe down was all custom bent, cut, and molded. And I think they did a pretty fantastic job on that. And then the same thing with the base. That was also custom made for this unit. It's a pretty cool deal all the way around. As you can tell, underneath the house, there is quite a bit going on. You can see the vents coming up from each of the rooms that are going to have heating and air up to them. And then they managed to start getting all this duct work in and tucked up. And that goes towards the master bedroom, master bath, and closet. And then over this way, there's another duct right there that goes to the office. So that's pretty cool. They're getting a lot of work. A lot of this under here I haven't been filming because I don't want to get in their way, and there's really no point. But they're doing a fantastic job on this, and I think we've got about another day, and they will be back at it. So we will call it today a day, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. I am back at it this morning. I managed to get this one up by myself yesterday. It was a bear. We're going to try it again with this second one. I put a brace right here to hold this end up as I try and maneuver this. So we'll give this a try and see what we can get done. But we're just continuing on with more and more, getting closer with the trim.
Well, I did plan on asking for help to do this section of the house and to get these belly bands up. I got here earlier than the contractors did for the HVAC, so I decided to just take this on myself. And once I figured out how I was going to do it engineering-wise, I just went ahead and got it done.
Well, here goes nothing. The problem with this corner is you can see there's a dip here. There's a huge hole there that I have for the irrigation or the water pipe going into the house, and I have that dug out still. So I'm having to fight that distance in between working out of that hole. So we'll give it a try here and see what we get. Always a little dicey, but we managed to get it done. I'm pretty stoked to have all that belly trim in and have got it in by myself. I thought I was going to have to call for help, but I got stubborn and decided to just get it done. Anyway, we're done with that, and we'll go in and check on the HVAC. Well, they managed to finish off all of the HVAC. Again, all of this stuff right here is all custom cut and bent and worked out, certainly way above my skill level. And so watching these guys work was pretty impressive. Again, one thing that we learned is units like this York and all that only come from HVAC distributors and installers, and they won't sell them to you directly. So that was why we went ahead and decided to go with High Mountain Heating and Air to go ahead and install all of the heating in the house. The duct work up above and all that, I probably could have figured out. I probably could have figured out a lot of this stuff. However, the time to learn it and do that was far more exceeding time-wise and cost-wise than I was really prepared to do. So we got a good deal on the entire air system. For those that are wondering, the entire air system itself, for the heating unit, all the duct work and all of that was around $15,000 to have them do all the install and all that. So well worth it, considering some of the quotes that we got were $35,000. So they were half of what we were being quoted on a lot of this work. So altogether, we've got in this week, we've gotten in the HVAC system, and we got in all of the house trim, which was is a huge deal, minus that center window. As I do finish out all the windows in the house, and I'll finish off that. That's a later project, and we'll get to that here pretty soon. Hopefully have a lift here on site to be able to get that top center window in, 2 little side windows I can do from a ladder. But anyway, we've got the HVAC done and all of our trim work done, so I think that that's a pretty good list of stuff to have accomplished this week. and we will just keep on keeping on. Anyway, I appreciate you watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and leave some comments down below. I'd love to interact with everybody. So thanks for watching.